This is Carlo.
Hey, Carlo. Good to hear from you. This is Narelle with the band Famous. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I just want to confirm that I heard you correctly. It's Carlo, not Carlos, right?
Right. Yes, no S.
Carlo. Beautiful, beautiful. It's so good to chat with you. Are you having a good Friday night?
Yeah. I'm just hanging out, having some beers, watching Ancient Aliens, actually.
Nice. I love Ancient Aliens. That's a classic. Oh, my goodness. Well, I want to thank you in advance. I just want to go ahead and make sure I have your consent to record this phone call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being our next special guest. I want to say welcome back to another episode of Queer Talk with the band Famous. Today we have a very exciting and special guest and some really fun topics that we will be discussing. Queer translates to strange or different, and what could be more strange or different than the paranormal? Now, you already brought up Ancient Aliens. So we have invited Pokémon Go Community Leader CarloTheAce, husband, father, who identifies as they/them. Please say hello and introduce yourself, and how would you like us to address you?
Hi, I'm CarloTheAce. My real name is Carlo, and you can just call me Carlo. Yeah, sorry. I'm a little nervous.
No. Oh, don't be nervous. We're so happy to have you. And actually,
thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Zander and I were actually driving earlier today, and we were in the Jeep, and we were talking about, first of all, we actually sharing a lot of your artwork in this video, and we're very excited that you shared it with us because, yes, there are a lot of, people who do sort of like AR artwork with Pokemon Go. But to be honest, it's pretty evident that some people are only kind of about it for like the clout, like look what I did kind of thing. Whereas like we both genuinely get the vibe that you are a real artist and that you're actually, and I mean anyone that can make art using like elements like video games and things like that. Like that's just we love the photos that you shared with us. They're so cool.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's been so much fun. And like discovering how to do it and how to actually have two Pokemon in there at the same time. It's a challenge, but oh my goodness, it becomes
I don't even know how you
kind of like a passion of mine. Awesome. I've shared my secret. It's no big deal, you know what I mean? But if more people are like liking it and want to know how I do it, I'm more than happy to share my secrets or the techniques that I use. So I mean, if more people want to do it or just embrace it, I'm more than happy to like help you out. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. So definitely anyone listening to this who wants to take better photographs and make some really cool art with your favorite Pokemon, get a hold of CarloTheAce and he'll be happy to share some of his tips and tricks with you. What a guy. That's awesome. Thank you, Carlo.
Thank you.
Of course. I wanted to actually address one of the quotes that you have. I believe it's in your Twitter bio, if I'm not mistaken. But one of your quotes is, "Trust nobody, question everything, enlighten the ignorant masses." Can you tell us what inspired this mindset? Like, was it a particular experience, or was it more of a series of experiences?
Yeah, it's been basically my entire upbringing. I grew up in a religious environment, and just everything that I was being taught and learned, and through the experiences that I was having, in the paranormal already as a youth, I was questioning, a lot of things already by the time I was like 10 years old. And it's been something that has really, I don't know how to describe it. It's something that everybody needs to experience for themselves. Kind of like an awakening, seeing how you need to experience things for yourself. You need to be able to not just believe everything everybody tells you. You need to find your own truth. You know what I mean? And for me, growing up believing that there is a heaven, there is a hell, and your actions, like make you who you're going to be, and you're gonna go to heaven because you're so good, and blah blah blah. I just don't understand, the I don't know how to describe it. It's just the whole religious aspect of the way I grew up. It's so divisive, and my family has been torn apart by it so much that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay, and it has. I'm sorry, I kind of lost track of what I was trying to say, but going back to the quote that I have, I just want people to not just believe everything they're told.
Yeah.
Either through their upbringing in a religious environment or non-religious, and if you want to start believing in a god or a higher being or what have you, do you be happy, but to force somebody to try and be something else that is different, that there is something out there because you're starting to experience things that you can't find answers to with what you're being taught. It becomes kind of like a journey within you to find out what exactly is going on.
Right. I go off on a bunny trail in my mind on what you said on religion, and I completely agree. You can't just for one thing, some people will take religion and they only pick and choose pieces that they like and they ignore other things. So it's it's very subjective and kind of like a crutch for some people. So I do feel what you're saying, where it's you can't just be oh, well, I read it, so that's the way it is. It's there's more to it than maybe what we were told. Or what was in the Bible, for example, because
there's
it's been translated how many times?
There's things you read in there and you're like, wait, how does this make sense? Early in the Old Testament, it talks about God having a car. And he needs this car to get around, and it's made out of this, and it's made out of all these things. And then you're kind of wondering, wait, why does God need a car if he's supposedly everywhere? So it starts to plant this seed in you. So wait, why am I being told this when I'm reading it as this? Yeah, exactly. So you start, to try and do some research, and with what I've experienced, there's a lot that we don't know. And I know for a fact we are not being told. There's things that we are not. There's secrets out there, that they're being held from us, and we would be better off knowing. You know what I mean? Instead of being lost. I feel like we're lost.
They're only feeding us pieces of the truth instead of the whole truth. They're we'll tell you this much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I totally understand that. So my next question, talking about paranormal experiences. So paranormal experiences are nothing new to you, are they, Carlo?
Oh, no. No, not at all. Since I was a little boy.
I was just going to ask, that brings me to my next question. Approximately how old were you when you had your first paranormal experience, and what was that like?
I don't quite recall the age. I know I was in elementary school. I was living up in Modesto, California, right before we moved down to San Diego. But I remember it was me, my brother, and my sister. It was sometime in the afternoon. We had gotten home from school. And for some reason, we got stuck in the living room staring towards the window, and there was these massive shadows just staring back at us.
Oh,
And
wow.
I don't
Like
know
figures?
what it was. Yes, about figures. Creating a shadow between the glass and us. So they were like outside the
Wow.
house, and the curtains were like kind of halfway drawn. There were like blinds, those blinds that go, those basic blinds that just go up and down when you turn them.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was like that, but so you can see just three big black figures, and we were just stuck. We were stuck. You know that paralyzing fear that you know what's happening, but you can't speak, you can't move, you can't do a damn thing.
You were frozen.
Yes, absolutely frozen, and I'm actually reliving it right now. I'm getting goosebumps.
Wow.
But
so
all of a
that
sudden,
actually answers my next question. So your initial reaction or emotions you felt in that moment is that it wasn't necessarily a positive paranormal experience, because you said you felt frozen by like fear.
Right. It's because it's something you've never experienced before. It's something so new, so shocking. You don't even know what you're actually seeing. You know, all I remember seeing is these shadows. So and then all of a sudden
and they weren't moving. They were standing still.
Nope. They're just standing still, just absolutely statuesque. And I could probably draw it for you guys. Yeah, absolutely. I could probably. Yes. I mean, and then after that, I can just remember, like, just snapping out of it, and my mom and my dad coming into the door, just everything just coming back to normal. Just all of a sudden, like if we lost time, and I don't remember what happens after that. You know what I mean?
Wow. Do you think that your parents or anyone else saw the shadowy silhouette figures, or was it just you and your siblings?
No, I mean, I've asked my siblings about that incident, and they don't remember anything.
They don't remember.
I don't know why I remember that first incident, but it isn't the first time that either me or one of my family members has been visited.
Wow.
And
prior to this first paranormal experience, had you ever felt or thought that maybe there might be other intelligent life forms in the universe besides those here on planet Earth? Like what meets the eye physically?
Oh, absolutely. Just from growing up, knowing about the Bible and spirits and how God and them came down from the heavens to earth, and for some reason they had to, inseminate a human to make Jesus be born. It's just when you start to think about it, it's like why?
Yeah.
If you're God, why can't you just come down and, instead of having to go through all these means and all these weird, like, experimental, sounding things, like, I don't know. My mind just starts to, think all kinds of different ways, and it's just like, I don't know, that there has to be something more. Like, if you're an almighty, being or something, you don't have to go through these means just to be there and say, hey, like, I'm your salvation. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Right. It's just weird to me.
I was just going to say, based on the first experience you shared, that you said, well, that your siblings don't remember, but you remember very vividly with the shadowy figures outside your window and just kind of being paralyzed and frozen in fear for that moment. How long after that did you begin looking for information or answers to explain what you had experienced?
It took years, actually. Actually, down to when I first ended up having internet access. is when I was able to, be able to research things that I was curious about, regarding extraterrestrials or ghosts and things like that, because
right, or whatever their pronouns are, because who knows? Like, they might have a million identities,
Absolutely. And when I was, it took until the second time I experienced something paranormal, when I was in middle school, that I told myself, you know what, this is weird. Something is different. This is not what I've been taught all my life. I need to know what else is going on. Because one time I was in the house that we finally moved into here in San Diego, and I was asleep, and all of a sudden I am awoken. I'm in the pitch black in my room, and I'm hearing my name being called right into my ear. Just Carlo.
Oh wow.
Carlo.
Was it a voice you recognized?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. So I'm looking around. I see nothing. I sleep on my side. So then I turn onto my back, and then I hear my name called one more time, and then and then all of a sudden, like without warning, I am being held down by this massive weight. Just this massive darkness. I don't know what it is or what it is. You can't move. You can't speak. All you are is inside your mind, just wondering what is happening, what is going on. You know what? It's one of those feelings that you're just like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's very real, and it is some type of paranormal entity or something that seems to prey on people that are sensitive, because it's like they know that you are sensitive. Like obviously energy is everywhere, and it's like some people are. I mean, everybody has intuition, everybody has psychic abilities. Obviously, if we don't listen to that little voice in our head that's like, I don't know if that's a good idea, or go for it. If you don't listen to that, it's kind of like. You just don't hone that skill, like, so like if you
and then all of a sudden
exactly, yeah,
it won't start. It'll stop, whispering to you. You'll stop hearing that. Hey, something's up over here, So you need to listen to that intuition. You need to respond to it. You're not crazy. You know what I mean? You're not, seeing things. Well, maybe you are, but something's there. Something is there.
Somebody else doesn't see it. Doesn't mean that it's not there. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I mean, debatably, sometimes that little voice we hear in our head, like our intuition, whatever you want to call it, like it could even be our higher soul. Arguably. Which brings me to my next question. Do you believe? And I think I know the answer to this one. But do you believe in the afterlife, in spirits, ghosts, angels, guides, guardian angels, that sort of thing?
Yes, and yes, like 1,000 times over. I can tell you, man, when my mom died,
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's been a while now. But when she died, she was holding basically the entire family together. Like not just like the core family, my brothers and sisters and my dad, but like my aunts and my grandparents and my uncles and all of them, because she helped them emigrate here to the US. And because of the religion and all that, and we became eventually excommunicated. And they saw it as the worst thing in the world, and eventually they would not even speak a word to us. So when she passed away, it was just like the most heartbreaking thing in the world. But years later, after I had my son, I was sitting at my apartment, and we were celebrating my birthday. And once they finished with the song, I felt someone brush my ankle. Just brush it real quick, and instantly,
just a light sensation.
I felt my mom. Like, I don't know what it was. I felt my mom at that moment, and all of a sudden, everybody could tell me that they saw me just break down, crying, just for no reason. Nothing happened. Nobody said anything. I am just bawling my eyes out, just like heaving, just the most intense crying you could have after like losing someone. And and immediately, as soon as I was done, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe what just happened. Like, I felt my mom's spirit. Like, it's something that not a lot of people get to experience, and when you tell it, it's really, really hard to believe. But I hope that the listeners, have an open mind, and when people tell them these things, don't just tell them, oh, you're just seeing things, or no, it was just a memory. No, you need to just embrace it and believe, because there's
honor it for what it is.
More to this life than what we are being told. And that is something I 100% believe.
I 100% believe that as well, and I can only imagine the mixed bag of emotions you felt of like pure joy and also like still heartbreak and like grief.
Oh my goodness,
like you could
everything
just, like,
all at
reach out and
once.
hug her.
Joy,
rage,
sadness,
everything.
Absolutely.
All the emotions. Oh my God.
I mean, one time, my brother told me this story once. On his wedding day, he was moving stuff around the house, and in the kitchen, as he was holding a box, he saw a full apparition of my mother.
Oh my gosh.
Just smiling at him.
That is
just smiling at him in just saying, I approve of what you're doing right now.
That makes me happy.
He told me that, and I couldn't say no. You know what I mean? There's a lot.
I do. Yep. I'm with you. Like when our loved ones pass over, like they definitely, if you're aware, if you're open-minded and you are not like, buried with your head in the sand crying all the time, and you actually have your eyes open, you can sometimes pick up on all kinds of little messages and signs from the other side, whether it's a feather falling, whether it's a butterfly. One time after my grandfather passed away, I was out in his yard, and one of his old little business cards out of nowhere just landed at my feet, and it was like a joke card. He used to joke that he was an epistemologist or something, and like he was just a fucking funny dude, and it was like he was just reminding me that he was still going to be making me laugh, like, and 100%, and so beautiful.
It's
moving
one
on
of the most
my
amazing feelings.
It is, and I'm so happy when I hear about other people like yourself who have experienced that, like when a loved one has passed over, that you still have like that. Like obviously, it's not the same. We can't call them on the phone like we can, like me and you are talking. Like we can't like hug each other and like kiss each other on the cheek. Like there's so many times I broke down crying because I just wanted to kiss my grandpa on his soft cheeks, and I couldn't kiss his cheek, something like that. But like. We definitely, I agree with you, and it's like very comforting, and
like that connection is still there. The energy is still there.
They're still there. They're still there.
that bond.
It's so funny. Yes. And you know what's funny is my grandfather, real quick, and I'll get back to the questions in a second, but
No
fun
worries.
story, because I basically grew up with my grandfather, and he was like more of a parent to me than both of my parents put together.
The same with my
very,
wife.
Very tight. Yeah. And so I remember he was getting up there in age, you know, and I was like in college, and he was like, now, Mary, that was my first name. He goes, Mary. When I pass, he's like, don't get all excited. And that's how he said it, right? And I go, I won't get all excited if you promise that you'll come back and, like, be an angel or a fairy or whatever you want to be for me. But you got to come back and, like, let me know you're still around. And he just laughed, but he kept his promise. He said he would, and he kept his promise. And he has definitely been there for me in the best times and the worst times and everywhere in between, I feel his spirit. So I 100%, like, you got to believe her here, and hopefully other people listening, you know, will have a little more of an open mind and maybe take a little comfort if they have lost someone recently, that doesn't mean that it's the end, that there's still that connection if they're open to it, albeit it is a different form. It is a different transition of you know, they have changed forms, but they're still them. They're still their soul,
yes.
You know?
Yep, yeah. 100%.
And it's so beautiful. Bless our angels. We're so blessed. Moving on to our next question. Do you believe that there is a spiritual warfare out there of good versus evil? Angels and demons, whatever you want to call it.
I think so. Yes, because
right?
You know when you enter a room that is just doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you enter somebody's house and it just has a weird feeling, or you enter somebody's house and it just feels happy, you know,
right.
or
right. the energy, yes,
absolutely, the energy is gonna. I don't know how to explain it. As soon as you enter somewhere that, you know, you think it's going to be just neutral, and all of a sudden you don't feel right. You know, you start feeling aches in your body even, like,
right.
I've entered some places like, where, oh man, I need to get out of here. Like, I don't, you know, it's making me feel sick.
Right.
Or like some places you go there and you absolutely feel serene.
Yep.
And I've experienced it for myself when I was being attacked in my youth by unknown spirits or entities that you can't see, those shadow figures that wake you up at night and hold you down.
You can't breathe, and you can't move, and you can't cry out for help, you can't speak. I have heard this from other people. You are not the only one that has experienced
like
this.
Come to drain you or something, or
they try
I don't
to
know what it
is.
is.
I don't know. Yeah.
Mhm. But you know, you kind of have to go back into your mind and actually push them away. When after a while, I got tired of them coming and just, you know,
bothering you,
making me so afraid of just going to sleep. And all of a sudden, I was just like, you know what? Get off me. One night, I just said, get off. Go away. And it was the most empowering thing I have ever felt. And every time afterwards when, you know, they came to try and do the same thing, you know, they do win for a little while, and then you snap back and say, no.
Definitely.
This is my space. This is my body. Get away from me. And they have no choice but to leave. I don't know why they do when you tell them to, when you actually do it with conviction, but I can't explain why they leave.
We have more power than them. They only want us to think they have more power than us.
They're just like, it's like a bully in real life. When you finally stand up to them, they will back off and actually respect you for it.
Yep. Yeah, and hopefully leave you alone and say no, what's good for them. But yeah, and
I haven't experienced something like that in a long time. In a very long time.
That's very
the only things I've experienced are in the extraterrestrial in the extraterrestrial realm. In the spiritual realm, I still feel stuff, but I'm not being attacked anymore. But when it comes to like extraterrestrial stuff, I kind of have like a feeling for it. I don't know. Sometimes I'm compelled to just go outside and look up, and I'll see this little white dot just floating by. I'll just stare at it, watching by. Yes, up in the sky, and then all of a sudden it's just gone. It just disappears.
Have you ever seen an orange one?
Gone.
Have you ever seen an orange one?
No.
Because Zander and I did, and I saw one when I was a kid that was just like it in my grandfather's kitchen. And my grandfather worked for the military intelligence. He was an intelligence analyst for like almost 3 decades. And he wasn't so in a way he was kind of like James Bond. He couldn't give away anything about his job. You know, he took it all to the grave with him, and he rests at Arlington National Cemetery. But I remember growing up and seeing like, he was very eccentric. And I remember there was this huge kind of like outer space poster with those cool little alien dudes giving a peace sign, And to me, that was like almost like a little hint, like, yeah, aliens are real, like.
Yeah, like my grandpa knows something.
Yeah, he was rad.
Oh wow, that is so dope.
So real quick, I need to know, Carlo, are you a Jedi or a Sith? You answered right away. You're a Jedi, aren't you? I knew it.
No, I like to think I'm a little. I'm a gray Jedi.
Okay.
So
you're like
in between.
You're like a Luke Skywalker that'll go and fuck everyone up at the end, right?
Yes, like I wanna try and find that balance, that real balance between the light and the dark.
Absolutely.
And not just embrace one side. Yeah.
Yeah. Balance is so important. I mean, and honestly,
absolutely.
How could you compare like the experience in your youth from the shadowy figure and the paralyzing fear, and even the other time where it was like suffocating you and keeping you from moving or crying out from your bed, and like just keeping you in that fear, and then having that to contrast and compare to the lightheartedness, where you cry because you're so happy and overwhelmed with love, but also sadness, but still all the positive emotions of it, where just appreciate, you know what I mean? Like with the visitations from your mother and things like that. It's like, you compare, and it's like one of them is clearly much more demonic, and one of them is very, angelic, arguably.
Absolutely.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Incredible.
Yeah,
wow.
So,
and,
to answer that question again about the battle between light and dark, it's absolutely there, that yin and yang, having that balance between your darkness and your light, it's so good for you. Not just, sticking to one or sticking to the other. You need to embrace both and say, okay, this is what's bad about me, and this is what's good about me.
Exactly.
And this is who I am.
I was just going to say, like, kind of like how everybody has a light and a shadow side. We can't just, we may want to only focus on the light and the good things we like about ourselves, but really the most growth happens when we venture into the darkness within ourselves, and we aren't afraid to really face those darker emotions, those darker feelings, those other struggles, because it is, kind of like that Cherokee saying, there's a good wolf and a bad wolf in everybody, right?
Yes.
Amazing. Speaking of wolves, I want to switch gears for a moment. How long have you been into Pokemon?
I've been into Pokemon since I was, a little kid in elementary.
Right.
I remember when it first came out, all my friends had the little Game Boys, and either the red version or the blue version, and I was like, what is this? And they were showing me, and they were like, just so happy being able to, like, hey, I have this Pokemon. Do you need it? Yeah, I do. Let's link up and trade it. Or, check out how I'm progressing. Look how my Pikachu's doing. And all of a sudden I started playing, and then, I got hooked right away. I couldn't stop. It just became a way of life, a way of, being able to escape from all the crazy, things in my life, and
definitely.
The friendships you make with it have been one of the most amazing things, to be honest. Not just the games itself, but being able to share the same joy with somebody else. It just hits differently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when did you start playing Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Go. I actually tried to start on the same day that it came out for everybody in the U.S. I tried it out with the Pokemon Trainer Club, but it was so buggy, and you just couldn't even get into it. I was like, okay, screw it. I'm going to use a Google account, and my first date of real starting to play was July 8th of 2016, when it first came out. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was basically
I'm an OG.
Yeah, you an OG. That's so crazy. I almost forgot about how buggy it was way back in the beginning. That's nuts.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, people still kind of complain about the bugs, right? They always kind of complain. It's like, y'all, come on, give me a take a break, because it has gotten a lot better from when it launched. Let's be real.
Oh, my goodness. It's like day and night. It really has become all in all, the community is what made that game incredible.
For sure.
It really is
amazing.
Like the friends I've made so far, I can't even describe it. It's been overwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah, we agree. There's my theory, I think Zander as well shares this theory, is that a lot of people that play Pokemon Go are naturally animal lovers, right? Because they're all like little animals. So it's like maybe that's kind of why we all kind of get along for the most part. Don't get me wrong. I know some people have had their like turf wars with like gyms and stuff. I remember all the drama,
oh my goodness.
When it first came out.
Oh no. I remember too.
Yeah, I remember. We did not forget. Okay. So what level are you currently at in the game?
I am right now at 47 and a half. All I have left to do is gain XP, and then I'll be level 48. But I'm just taking my time, being the same casual player I do. I only basically play on my way to work. I walk to work, and that's my play time. That's when I take advantage to take some photos and have some fun with that. And then after that, I open it up, once in a while on my breaks, and then if I have to go do errands after work or something, I'll open it up and do it then. But I am so casual. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd have to say I'm pretty casual too. I think Xander's a little more competitive. Like he'll go a little more hardcore with the PvP sets and like making his parties, and I'm more like, let's go shiny hunting and like things like that. Like I love it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love collecting those PvP Pokemon and all that.
Oh yeah,
but
it's so fun. I'm a little more on the cash side too, though. I think, but it is
definitely.
It's a wonderful game that you can kind of
absolutely
enjoy really anywhere. So that's awesome. So I have to ask, because I know your PS, is it your PS4 or your PS5 name is like Great Snorlax?
Great Snorlax.
Great Snorlax 619. So I had to ask if is Snorlax your favorite Pokemon?
It is my number 2 favorite Pokemon.
Number 2?
My favorite Pokemon of all time is Gengar.
Gengar. He's such a cute little ghost.
Oh, he is a savage.
He's funny, yeah. He's a little party man.
Even my little avatar is covered in Gengar. I got a Gengar backpack.
Aww.
My buddy, I have 6 perfect Gengars I'm trying to get to.
Oh, wow.
Best buddies right now. Yeah, so I'm constantly changing them out to get their little hearts up and everything.
Give them all the love, all the snacks.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those ghost types now from everything I've lived through and know about, not just from myself, from other people that I've talked to. Ghosts are absolutely real. You can't you can't ignore the signs. You can't. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent now.
No, you're fine. Actually, extending on your tangent, I was actually just going to add to it and be like, it's interesting because I've also heard, other people share paranormal experiences, and it's like sometimes you hear, like I said, I know some people within my family who have suffered like night terrors, like you explained, where it's like a black darkness was over them. They couldn't breathe. They couldn't cry out. They couldn't move.
Some of the ghost type descriptions are really, really terrifying. So it kind of goes hand in hand with real life.
Right. And I was going to say, like how, like, I might see, my grandfather's business card shows up out of the blue and on the ground in front of me, or like something random, like, a little omen like that. But whereas your brother, like you said, saw a full-on apparition of your mother, so it's like there's different levels, and like maybe, and I don't know if you're from, do you ever watch the show Supernatural?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes.
Oh my God, yeah, we
love
got
that
into
show.
that a little late, but yeah, we're kind of obsessed. We love it too.
It's so good.
We call Kid our little familiar. She's our little familiar kid.
Aw, cool.
Our little dog. Because she did find us. If you saw that episode with the familiars, it's like they always find them. It's so cute.
Yes,
but,
yeah.
It's just so crazy to think about because, like, that some people will sit and be like, ghosts aren't real, aliens aren't real, and they're just, like, so skeptical. They're like, there's no such thing as an afterlife. There's no such thing as past lives. Like, they're just so, like, closed-minded about certain things. But it's like, how can you be closed-minded when you, your brother, myself, like, so many people have had so many types of experiences. And no, they're not all the same, like, but there are some things that are parallel. Like, there are dark entities that have a lot of things in common, just as, like, when you feel like an angelic presence, it's you know what I mean? Like, the energy, the vibe is different, and other people have felt it too. So it's like, people, you need to open your mind a little bit, y'all, because if enough people are saying that this is happening, then you gotta start to wonder that it might actually be happening instead of poo-pooing everything,
Like my own father, he was very skeptical about afterlife and everything, and one day he told me, like, yo, I felt your mother in the bedroom, like, she was there, and like this.
That's amazing.
Like, he was almost like in tears, like, I have never experienced or believed in anything like this. I have always been taught that once you die, that's it, that lights out. No, nothing else. No afterlife. You're done. And he was like, I can't be a part of a religion or an organization that teaches you that there is nothing else there when I have just experienced something completely different.
And again, it doesn't even make sense when they're talking about, like, a heaven and a hell and God and all this stuff. It's like, how can you say that when we die, that's just it, lights out? Because that contradicts things a little bit,
How can you say that this person went to hell if they're just fucking visiting me right now? If I just, if I just took a picture and I saw somebody's, apparition in the photograph. Like, I shot some AR photos the other time. I think I sent them to you guys. It was a Ho-Oh versus a Lugia, and there is this green little energy there. And I shot
I love when orbs
several I shot over 20 photos trying to make those look really nice, and only in like 4 shots is that little green orb there. And it's not there, it's there, and then it's not there.
Orb. Cute. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Remind me. I have to send you. I have a little video on our Instagram of a little green orb that Zander and I saw on our ranch. It was like a full moon not too long ago. I'll have to send it to you. It was pretty recent, but yeah, it was like a little green orb. And I was taking pictures of the moon, and I saw the green orb in the photo, and I was like, wait. And I was like, hang on, let me get some video. And then I took video, and it was fucking moving around. I was like, it's fucking there.
That is awesome.
Energy source.
Yeah, because I had no lens flare or anything like that.
Nope.
You know, it was just there and then not there. Like, whoa.
That's so cool.
It's incredible, the things that are out there. Yes, absolutely. It's nice to know that there is so much mystery still left in this world.
Yeah, and I agree. So I did have another question about a couple more questions, I guess, about Pokemon Go. What are your favorite aspects of the game? Are you more of like a PvP enthusiast, a raider, a shiny collector, or you just overall love all that the game has to offer? Now I know you mentioned you're more of a casual player, but like based on all of those elements, is it kind of like you love the whole package, or is there one or two things that really you enjoy?
The whole package really has been an experience. Having known this game from its inception,
from the launch,
I've grown to appreciate what it has become, and also what it could be. It could be so much more if it didn't always centralize in the money grab.
Yeah.
I like the whole fact that we can do raids, we can catch these legendaries, we can catch all these shinies, we can catch these shiny legendaries through raids.
Yeah, and the shadow Pokemon and the purifier.
And for me, when I first started it, I started playing selfishly. I said, hey, I'm going to start playing this game, and eventually I know I'm going to be able to transfer any shinies that I find to my core games, and that way I'll be able to complete a living dex in my core games and travel along and play, for whatever time that I want with all these cool Pokemon that I grab.
That is
and all of a sudden, I didn't know we'd be able to do that, and then they introduced that like last year or something, that you can transfer anything you want over to home, and I'm like, oh my goodness, no way.
That's so cool. Yeah, I was blown away when they introduced that as well. I thought that was so cool.
But eventually,
them run around in the field.
It turned into more of a community thing. I became a part of a server on Discord, and I don't know what happened, but I became from an introvert into an extrovert almost.
Aww.
And like an extroverted
awesome.
introvert in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I started just recruiting and trying to find people everywhere that I could go, and inviting them to the server and be like, hey, let's all join up, let's go, let's do this.
Awesome.
And I don't know, I am just so thankful for this game in so many ways.
Me too. Me too. We have a lot of friends that we wouldn't have met without Pokemon Go. It's just
oh
like,
my goodness. Wow. Yes. Internationally even. Just
absolutely.
This last year when they introduced the remote raids during the pandemic and everything, I remember the server was absolutely dead. It was dead. And I was like, no, I'm gonna go on the full campaign and just blast ourselves all over anywhere that I could, and say, hey, join us. Let's become an international family. Let's share raids with each other. Let's, become, friends, actual friends. And as a community leader for here in San Diego, it's been a challenge. I didn't create the server that I have. I actually took it over from somebody else. Just because of the passion that I had compared to their non-passion, I guess. And
oh, wow.
I don't know.
They're like in control. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was able
that was actually my next question. Could you tell us about your experience as a Pokemon Go community leader?
Oh my goodness, it's really nice to see so many people who share the same interests as yourself, and not just yourself, but in the entirety of the world. When you see how many people actually play this game, and growing up as isolated as I was very, very, very sheltered. So when I see other people that love Pokemon as much as I do, it brings me joy, like a joy that it's nice to be able to share with somebody else, and
a joy to be shared. Exactly.
And when I took over the server, I was able to recruit, some nice moderators, some really good people, and with them, we've been able to just like nurture this community, like with just friendship. We were able to lead during those like 3-hour Pokemon raid days when you had to just go like crazy, and I had all these gyms mapped out in our area, and I had everything planned out, and at one point we had well over like 60 people in this giant caravan, just going from gym to gym to gym.
That's awesome.
And
like
I was like, all right, let's go over here, over there. And they were like, all right, where's the next one? Over here.
Oh,
and it was so much fun. I kind of miss those days, but then I kind of don't. At the end of the day, I was like so exhausted. It's like from all the adrenaline, and oh man, it's such a joy to be able to just share a I don't even know how to describe it. Just share a mutual, just a bond with so many people you never knew you'd be able to meet. Right. You're walking around town and you recognize people. You're not. You see someone, you're like, hey, I know you. You play Pokemon. Yes, absolutely. It's
like, hey, are you
really,
getting
really cool.
Up there? Yeah, it really is. It's such a beautiful thing. So here's an idea. How would you feel about a Pokemon Go Oasis on the Band Famous Ranch as part of a yearly benefit music festival experience where we benefit all the performers and musicians with cryptocurrency payments?
That sounds like a fantastic time. Like an absolute blast. Absolutely. Getting so many people together that is so cool.
That's something that we're working on. It's in the works, it's in production, and we are welcoming sponsorships and partnerships to help things along. If anybody's tuning in and they want to help make this happen, you can join forces and help us make it happen sooner, but it is in the works, and we're very excited about it. We actually hosted the first ever ranked Pokemon Go tournament for charity as part of our Live and Follow Your Dreams benefit music festival that we did pre-COVID.
How fun!
It was so amazing, and it took place in January 2020. We had we had super famous YouTubers with us. We had Pokemon Master Holly, Trainer Tips, Mystic 7, the cruise ship. We had all these Pokemon, personalities and leaders in the space, kind of cheering everybody on for the competition. And we had like 3 different DJs. We had tons of performers. We had stand-up comedy, body painting. It was a blast. I will say I wish that it had continued, because I will say that there were some people, even famous YouTubers, I won't repeat the names, but there were some people that were friendly to us, that were, a part of our event, were a part of the festival, and then after the festival kind of fell off. Like, we didn't really hear from them anymore after that, so that kind of hurt our feelings. But I will say, like, overall, the Pokemon Go community has been very inclusive. But I did mention earlier in our conversation that Zander and I had the conversation in our Jeep earlier, and we're like, some people play Pokemon for, they all have their motives, their intentions. Maybe everybody that plays the game plays it because they love the game and are as passionate, as many of us are. But truth be told, maybe some people do care a little bit about ratings and clout and things like that. And we were very excited.
Others are more selfishly passionate.
Yes. Yeah, the more selfishly passionate, exactly. And we were just very excited to connect with you, because we definitely got the vibe right away that you are not the selfish type, you're more about the community and just like the good vibes, sharing the good vibes. Yeah. And we
I remember hosting tournaments here and having so many people show up. Like, I believe we actually hosted some of the biggest ones here in San Diego. We were hosting, at first, the very first one we hosted was at Parkway Plaza, the small one in El Cajon, and actually Trainer Tips came to that one. He was there. Yeah, he was there, and he was vibing with everybody, just trying to get a feel of everything. And after that, after a while, we were hosting there, but then we moved to another little city here in San Diego, in La Mesa, this place called Coin House. And there they serve alcohol, and they have all these arcade games. They have Mario Kart racing, and just a really fun environment. And as soon as we started, gathering there and hosting tournaments there, it just blew up. Like, I don't know, we had people just even waiting outside just to play in it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It was like one of the most amazing things I have ever experienced in my life. And that's why I have so much appreciation for this community, because just the passion the players have for the game itself, it's something that it just makes you really happy for some reason, seeing how many people can connect from all these different
backgrounds.
Different backgrounds, not just all these different ethnicities coming together, just vibing and being together, not worrying about all these stripes that all these countries have. It's something that it's truly wonderful for me how Pokemon can unite so many people in the most positive of ways.
It's inspiring. I agree. Yeah, and Pokemon has gotten a lot better at being kind of all inclusive as well. Like, I know in the beginning, several queer folk, myself included and Zander included, we didn't really always feel like we were always accepted by the community, and truth be told, we're still not 100% accepted by some of the Pokemon Go community. I will say we actually almost sponsored some very excited personalities that were excited to partner with us. They wanted to partner with us, and they were really bummed because they said that someone else that was sponsoring them was not going to let us sponsor them because, we can be a little not safe for work and yada yada. And so that was kind of a pain in the butt, because we're queer because we're different, you know, because we're poly, we're that freaky married couple, you know, like not everybody wants to fucking be cool with us, but it's like, hey, we're just being honest. You know, there's plenty of people that are cheating on their partners.
We're just living our best lives
and doing orgies. Exactly. We're just being transparent, you know, like
absolutely.
We're living our best life. Exactly.
That's the best way to be.
Right? And you yourself, Carlo, you identify as they/them, correct?
I do.
Could you tell us about when you decided to identify this way?
It's been a journey. It's been an evolution of discovery for me about myself and how I have been all my life. I didn't decide to be, you know, who I am. I identify as both male and female. At the same time,
that. Like Two-Spirit.
Yes, absolutely, and it's like when I think back at everything that I've done, the friends that I've had, the interactions that I have with people, I have never felt, you know, either all the way a man or all the way a female. You know, I've always felt both feelings. It's something that is hard to describe, but when you discover that, hey, you know what, there is more to me than what I see in the mirror.
Yes.
You know, in the mirror,
so
I see.
Can you say that again? I just want our listeners to hear that again. Can you say that again, Carlo? That was so profound.
There's more to me than what I see in the mirror.
There is more to me than what I see in the mirror. Everybody should fucking look in the mirror and say that to yourself. Just a friendly suggestion, because that is some profound depth right there. And yeah, okay. Back to you. I just wanted to really highlight that.
Yeah, because when you look deeply into yourself and you finally discover through research and knowing about the LGBT community and actually educating yourself and knowing what it is like to be, you know, non-binary, it's liberating. You don't have to try and be something you're not. You don't have to try and be this I don't know, image of the perfect woman or this image of this perfect man. You just
like the cookie cutter.
You can be cookie cutter is this. You can be you, and you can love who you want and be loved by who you want, and I don't know, just the pure joy of not saying, hey, you know, this is how I am going to be. I'm going to be this macho, crazy, just, you know, I am man. No, there is this feminine within me that I need to embrace, and I know that I am more than just this man that I see, you know, when I look at myself. There is also
You're more than just masculine energy. You're more than just masculine energy.
Yes, and some people, sure, that's all you are, or that's all, you know, you're just full feminine, but I don't feel that, you know, and I have to accept it. I have to say, hey, this is who I am, and I have to learn to be me. You know, and not what I have been taught that I need to be.
Yeah. Do you feel that people have treated you differently, for better or for worse, since you have chosen to identify as non-binary, they, them?
To be honest, I have felt a very, very positive response.
Yay.
Very
Good job, community. I love to hear it.
with my immediate family, it has been very, very good. When I told my wife, she knew right away. She was like, I knew it. Like, you know, you have all these different tendencies that, you know, you just don't experience with somebody who is, you know, 100% male or 100% female.
Yeah.
And she loves it. She loves it. It's the most, she thinks
I'm so happy
it's
for you
beautiful
both.
that, yes, and it has actually been beneficial to both of us in our relationship and in the way that, you know, we see life in its entirety. You know, there's so much more to discover. And we're there for it, you know.
That's beautiful. Do you have any wishes for the LGBTQAI plus community? I wanted to make sure I didn't leave anybody out. I think I got them all. LGBTQAI plus. Yeah, we got the plus in there. We're good. Okay.
Yeah, I just wish for everyone to be able to be embraced for who they are. I wish for people to not be afraid.
I'm clapping.
To not be afraid to show your true colors. You know, be as flamboyant as you want. Be as happy as you want to be. You know, like if people look at you for just walking differently, like screw them.
You know, color outside the lines. Exactly.
Like yes, like I'm gonna color outside the lines, and I don't care. It's pretty. You know, like be yourself. Be yourself, and you're gonna find
did that too.
you're gonna be so much happier.
Yeah. Oh man, that totally just brought me back to being a little kid, and like when you like do coloring books with other kids, and they like totally judge you for coloring inside the lines, like you colored outside the lines, and it's like I meant to, sucker.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Do you have any organizations or nonprofits or anyone at all that you want to shout out and spotlight for their great work supporting LGBTQAI plus communities?
Yeah, absolutely. Here in LA, the Latino Equality Alliance.
Latino Equality Alliance.
I'm Mexican, and I was born in Mexico and everything, and in that language, it's so hard to choose a non-binary term because everything in Spanish is so, it's either this
male
thing is a female or this thing is a male. And
Yep.
I love how they are bringing education and awareness to different states of being, to different people, to be inclusive. I love how they're in the Spanish, they're adding pronouns and all these other words to become more inclusive to everybody.
Aww.
And it's such a beautiful thing to see. To see more inclusiveness and love being spread, rather than hate, because hate it only destroys rather than builds, and we need to be more united. I feel, especially after being separated for so long during this pandemic and everything. I just feel like we need more love. Just all around.
More love. We do need more love. And I know the pandemic has been, hard on a lot of people, but it also seems like some people are kind of, almost, under a rock, where it's I'm going to bring this and bring something up just for reference here, because it got me thinking about it. But, since this whole pandemic thing has happened, obviously a lot of things have changed. Music shows have been majorly impacted. Even porn scenes, okay? People that have, porn agents can't even, do a scene with someone because of COVID, right? It's literally impacted like every industry imaginable. And yet I actually, I had a couple of unenlightened males, we'll say, that came in my corner recently. And there's two examples I wanted to share because I thought it would just be kind of fun, you know, kind of TMZ style for a minute on Queer Talk here.
Sure.
So one of them, I won't say his name, I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but it's a longtime friend of mine. So essentially, yeah, so this friend of mine that I had performed with for years and years and years reached out to me not that long ago. Actually, it was just after Zander's birthday, if I'm not mistaken, and he kind of said some really messed up shit, kind of on the subject of, he went as far to say that I could still save my own life. That was one thing he said to me, and he also said that I'm sure he was like, he kind of was hating on Zander a little bit, which really bothers me because Zander is an incredible guy, but for some reason people love to hate on him. And I'm going to digress for a second that even people in the past, he would talk to for like hours on the phone, like women, for example, primarily women, right? And they talk to him for hours on the phone, and then they ghost him. And it's really fucking hurtful. And they know about me. They know that we're married. They know they have my blessing to even be on the phone talking with him for hours on end. And then it's like they almost like play games with him and like play with his heart a little bit, like because he won't like. Yeah, there's legit been women who are like, oh, I'm married and like I'm into you, Zander, and he's like, okay, I'm married too, and my wife's okay with it. Like, is your husband okay with it? And then it's like, as soon as that question is asked, ghosted. So it's like clearly their husband isn't okay with it, and they're one of the people that are trying to be on the dirty down, you know, all that shit behind closed doors, trying to pretend they're that, you know, perfect couple. But I remember this friend that I've known for years that Zander has also been very kind to and has been a good friend to. And it was like, out of nowhere, this guy was like, yeah, like, I don't think Zander's good for you. And like, you know, you can still save your life and you're still young. And he was like kind of saying all this shit. And he said something like, I'm sure if you and Zander weren't together, like you and I would have hooked up and we would have dated. And I was just like, wait, like, hold up. And if this person happens to watch this episode of Queer Talk, you know damn well who you are. And I just want to say that I never hooked up with you before I got with my husband. And I will say that Zander actually opened my mind. So I think the reason this guy actually thought he had a chance where, like, you know, that we would have hooked up if not for Zander or something is you're probably aware that Zander and I, besides making the band famous together, we also have our adult project that we do, Kama Sutra Candy. It's like our little, you know, erotica project, sort of awakening and exploration and a whole bunch of healing and other things that goes on with that. Yeah. And it was interesting because when we started to explore some of these things, you know, where it's like certain experiences you really can't have with just one other person, right? Without going too much into detail. But it was Zander's idea to be like, hey, reach out to your friend, you know, that you perform with, that you've known for years, and see if he might be interested in doing a scene with us, right? Because he's like, he respects us both. He's a friend. So basically, Zander is the only reason this guy has a snowball's chance in hell in hooking up with me, right? He doesn't know that because, you know, in his mind, he thinks that we would have hooked up or dated in some alternate reality, and that's like the entitled machismo male shit that I can't stand as a woman. It's too funny. It cracked me up, but it was just like, are you for real, kid? And I'll give one other example. No, this next man. Yes. And this
weirdos.
next man.
I know.
So this next man is actually a pretty well-known porn star on Pornhub, all right? And he had been wanting to do a scene with me for pretty much ever since I came out that I was doing any kind of erotica or porn. I've had some people that are like really insistently trying to work with me, and I never reached out to him. So that's, you know, reference. But he reached out to me quite a few times, mostly in like Twitter DMs, which I mean, on my porn account, I flat out ignore because I get bombarded. And I'm like, I'm sorry, if you're not paying me or like emailing me professionally, I'm probably not going to take you as a professional, you know, generally speaking, not always, but like, let's just say I discussed with him the possibility of maybe working together pre-COVID, and then he reached out to me recently on like some platform a little more professional than Twitter. Okay, it was an actual platform to reach out to me for this kind of thing, so I'll give him that. But he reaches out and he's like, I really want to book you for a scene, blah, 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 links his profile again, and I'm like, okay. And I go through and I explain that obviously it's a global pandemic, and as such, I'm even more careful and selective about the work that I'm doing. And so as it's, obviously we're all at a much greater risk right now, so it's like I'm not going to necessarily give anybody any discounts per se. You know what I mean? For like some kind of any kind of paid gig, especially now that they're in California and I'm in Arizona. I'm like, you got to keep in mind that I'm driving like 10 hours to even get to Los Angeles, so it's like, take that into consideration. Now, I feel I was very respectful in my reply to him when he was trying to book me. I gave him some ideas for some different rates for some different things. From the sounds of it, he probably couldn't afford me, just saying. But I was like, hey, let me know your budget, and I'll see if there's something I can do. Let me know what you're working with, and I'll see if there's any kind of thing I can get creative, whether, this might get a little raunchy, but I'll say whether it's a masturbation video, for example, right? It's like you're not necessarily going to be able to afford me as talent in your video on your Pornhub, right? So I was very cordial in my reply. I was like, let me know your budget. So I gave him my reply, and then he goes, hi, we spoke before and had planned to shoot with each other years ago when you were here in LA. Now you are not. Your rates are much higher. You've never given me any attention or cared about my content otherwise, so for that I'll have to pass and say good luck to you. So I was like, all right. Whoa. And I was like, I have every right to hire my rates in a global pandemic when my safety, health, and well-being are at a much greater risk. And I said, I never promised you anything. You never gave me the so-called attention you were looking for either, and yet you're coming at me with an air of entitlement to my, to some discounted rates and terms discussed pre-COVID-19. And I said, I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, but when did you support any of my band's charity events pre-COVID? Were you at any of my concerts or my festival that we produced in Los Angeles? No, I didn't think so. Don't expect to get what you don't put out. You get what you give. You haven't given me any incentive or reason to offer you discounted rates and working together. And again, you had contacted me. You wanted me and your content. It wasn't the other way around. I am in demand and a rising star worth not only my porn, but with my music, which is my number one passion. My time, energy, and resources are precious, and I know my worth. Thank you again for your interest, though. I wish you the best of luck as well. Best, right? And then this guy actually gets back, and he kind of went on for a while. I'm not going to read all the messages, but he was like, he basically went on to insult me. He was like, for years you either ignored my messages on Twitter or weren't available. I, too, have a full-time producing concerts as the operations director for an event company. Have you attended any of mine or liked any of my Twitter posts showing you had interest in working together? No, it's a two-way street, no one direction. I expressed over many years before you came to California an interest in working with you. Side note, before I was in California, I wasn't doing porn, so that's a flat-out fucking lie. And then he says, I've shared my content with you more times than I can remember, and we're still here bringing up incentive. If anything, it looks like you've been posting the same content over and over with no growth. Just my opinion. So he literally goes on to insult me for not agreeing to basically fuck him on film for his budget. And I'm just like, excuse me, how much more entitled can you be, especially as a white male? He's a fucking white male. I'm like basically the kind of guy I would punch at a frat party.
No kidding. That's one of our jock mentality.
And I'm putting him on blast right now because I actually took my reply to him. Yeah, no, the audacity is right. And I took my reply to him and I cropped it because I'm like, literally, this should make it clear that this isn't personal. This is kind of like, heads up for anybody wanting to work with me. You're not getting a discount and it's a pandemic and I'll charge whatever the fuck I want to charge kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I put it out there on my Twitter, but it didn't have his name in it, right? It was completely, nobody knew who it was. And he goes, and he messages me back on this other platform, right? And he goes, and my message was pretty short, but not disrespectful. Posting it to Twitter isn't very mature. It could have been left where it was at, though. You decided to get very passive-aggressive. I'll forgive you.
Wow.
I know. I was like, you should, because I left your name and anything that identifies it out. But the principle stands for all. It's not personally just you. That's why I made my reply public. Again, double check the picture. You are not identifiable. I am not petty. take care. And I said, and regarding Twitter messages, do you have any idea how many people try to book me through Twitter DMs? I ignore those. In fact, for people to even get a reply from me, they have to tribute me first. Time is money. Professional people will email me and will negotiate with me if they truly wish to work with me. I wasn't disrespectful in my initial reply to you either. I even invited you to share your budget, and I would consider what I might be able to do for that. Times have changed. Have you read the news? I value my health too much to risk it for the same rates I offered before we found ourselves in the middle of a global pandemic. You should value your health more too. Again, take care, and best of luck to you as well. So I just kind of left it at that, and he never got back because honestly, I put the sucker in his place. But yeah, that is an example of fucking entitlement. There is no room for that sort of fucking entitlement. We are in 2021, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals around the fucking world. Show some fucking empathy and respect. And if you're not, you know what I mean?
There's no room for that. No room.
No, there's no room. And so I was thinking about that. I don't know why. It just bothers me because, I'm very happy to hear that you have been treated very well and you've received so much positive support when, you came out as they, them. And you mentioned kind of feeling kind of a little bit of both masculine and feminine energies. And I also resonate with that, and I feel like two-spirit, like a Native American term, right? But I think it can be anybody around the world where it's like you kind of you embody both male and female energies. And if you look at it, even when we're born, there's a fucking spectrum of measuring genitalia where they're like, is it a penis or a clit? We're going to say it's a clit. We're going to say it's a penis. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's like literally in the middle of the spectrum where it's, hermaphrodites exist. What do you call that? You know what I mean? And then people want to act like it's unfathomable that people could be more than just what they appear.
Yeah, while you're being in the womb, you actually have both sexes, and then your body chooses what it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome. I love that.
It's incredible, and sometimes people do disconnect from that first being both both male and female, and they go and branch off and become female only or female or male only. And
they conform.
But sometimes that connection stays, no matter if you come out in a male body or a female body. That connection between both stays there, and you can't deny it, or you will. You'll be miserable.
You'll be miserable. If you deny your authentic self, you're only inviting pain and heartbreak, not just for yourself, but to everybody around you that you are lying to, because you're pretending to be someone you're not.
And then once you embrace it and when you accept it, you will feel a huge weight lift off of you, and it's the most liberating feeling I've ever felt in my life. And I wish more people would do it and embrace who they really are inside. And once that happens, and once we can spread that and all be able to embrace each other, we would be all in such a better place. I know that for sure.
And going off what you just said, just kind of supporting each other and helping each other be our authentic selves, again, I want to bring Zander up because, number one, I already kind of gave an example with my friend from my youth that was like, we would have hooked up or dated, and it's like, no, we wouldn't have. You only had a chance because my husband's like, hey, give this guy a chance, where I wouldn't even have considered it. You know what I mean? And it's great. And he's a good-looking guy. He was a friend of mine. It was just like that. I just didn't feel that chemistry. You know what I mean? No matter how cute he was or whatever. Now he's going to get a big head if he hears this because he knows who he is. But it's personally not really my type anyway, so let me deflate that ego a little more. But no, it's just crazy to me because Zander actually opened my mind so much, and he's helped me immensely. I can't even put into words how much he's helped me live my authentic self or embrace myself authentically. But it was kind of funny because when we first started dating, he kind of teased me, and he's like, yeah, you're kind of more of a lesbian. But it's I love big dicks, so it's obviously I'm bisexual. I've been with little dick too. No shame to the little dick out there. Little dick can make some fun too. But there's lots you can do. I am a size queen, just saying. But my husband definitely opened up a lot of sort of repressed energy that I guess maybe was perhaps within me all along, but I just repressed it or oppressed it or denied it, or I don't know, but I do know that I knew that I was bisexual when I saw Shakira, because those hips don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
But not only Shakira, I mean, I had a crush on Aaliyah, I had a crush on Shakira, I had a crush on Maya. Those were like my 3 top girl crushes: Shakira, Aaliyah, Maya. They all have "us" at the end. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe I'm attracted to, you know, girls with names with "us" at the end. Nivea. No, I'm just kidding.
It could be.
But it was funny because, like, you know, unfortunately, when I was growing up and I was trying, I guess I knew I was bi-curious. I mean, in retrospect, I knew I was bisexual. No curiosity about it. I knew I was bi, but I repressed myself and kind of buried that because I remember when I first went to college, my first couple of years, I had joined because I was bi-curious, and I could at least admit it to myself by the time I made it to college. That I, you know, I'm like, yep, I think I'm attracted to women too, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know, even though they want to make you feel ashamed, you know, for, you know, not fitting to conformities or whatever. But
that social anxiety, that fear that society puts into you, it's incredibly
and I was once
debilitating.
It was very debilitating, and I was once victim to it. I remember I was in it was the Northland College drag club. It was like a drag club. It was like it was the Northern College Alliance, you know, like for LGBT everything, but it was also a drag club. And I remember I got, like, you know, I dressed up, I stuffed my pants with a fake cock and everything, and I did like a Blink-182 duet on stage with another lesbian, and I had the time of my life. But I remember that I'm not even going to say who in my family, because they don't even deserve the attention, positive or negative, but someone in my family. Obviously, we know it's not my grandfather because he was the fucking OG. He's the GOAT, you know. He's Opa.
Ride or die.
Someone in my family. Yeah, ride or die. He was my ride or die. And, you know, my fairy, my angel, whatever you want to call it now. But all of the above. But there was someone in my family who made me feel horrible when I started to come out of the closet. So that it was like I started to come out of the closet and I got hit with all this negative shit and abuse and just horrible things and carpet muncher comments, all kinds of bullshit. And I was like, you know what, fine, I'm not bi. And I, like, kind of went back in this little closet, right?
Made you run right back into the hole.
It made me run right back into the hole. I was like, fuck this. So I was so glad when I met Zander, because I met him. I'd actually moved away from said toxic family that, you know, wouldn't let me be as colorful and fucking flamboyant as I wanted to be. And you know, I met Zander, and he's this colorful body painter. So it was like I already knew that, like, you know, my world was about to be turned upside down for the better. But I did not know how much he was going to open up at me. Like, I mean, I knew I was bi. I had been such a prude in my past, though, Carlo. I was such a prude. I probably was that girl. Like, I was friends with everybody, and I did have a friend who was very promiscuous in high school, and I remember I was judged for being promiscuous just because I was friends with her. But, I mean, like, she would hook up with multiple dudes in one night, and it's like, I probably judged her a little bit, like, dang, I wouldn't do that, but whatever, you know. It's cool. I still love you. You're still a good person. You know, you're just a freak. It's okay. You got to get it in, you know, whatever. But, but, I mean, like, I don't know. I was such a prude. I didn't allow myself to really think about sexuality fully. So, like, when I met Zander, it just blew my mind because, like, I mean, since being with Zander, I've obviously had threesomes with women, but, you know, we both enjoy. But I've also had threesomes with men that I never knew that I would enjoy, and it turns out I fucking love it. So it's a really fun time. You know, 2 men and 1 woman. 2 women, 1 man, it don't matter. 3's a party. 3's company. It's a good time.
Absolutely.
But there are so many experiences that I would have missed out on if not for Zander. And what drives me nuts
and that's a beautiful thing to be able to do with someone else that you love, and it's really cool to have an openness like that, you know.
It is. And I mean, for example, I never in a million years would have imagined that I would, you know, have a porn video that's over 500,000 views, for example. You know, I never imagined I'd even do porn. I was so, like, you know, I was so resistant to my sexuality because I was always shamed for it before it ever even existed, if that makes sense.
Right.
It was like I was called a slut when I was a virgin. I was called a whore when I was still a virgin, like screaming to go to the hospital so that I could prove that I was still a virgin. And it was like, it was really traumatizing for me.
Accused of being gay and all these things, and I didn't even know what the hell I was. You know what I mean? And it's kind of traumatic, and you don't want to. You don't want to. You know, it makes you not want to be you anymore. You know, it makes you want to conform to what they want you to be, and
it's so sad. I know a lot of people have taken their lives over this kind of shit. It's so fucked up. People just really need to be more accepting, more loving, more compassionate. And what drives me nuts is like what Zander did for me. I know he has done for other people. I've seen him invest time, energy, money, helping not just like sexually with people, but I mean like he's helped artists with shows. You know, he and I together have given many musicians their first shows in Los Angeles now ever, because who knows when the pandemic is going to allow it to happen again. But like he's done so many things for so many people, and it's like I'm sitting here witnessing every time where it's like a pattern that these people, they either like use him for what they can get from him and then they leave, or they're just, I don't know, maybe they're just not genuine to begin with. But it's like there's been several times where there's been women
so much more fake and people who want to just use and just take advantage of every good-hearted person that just wants to
it literally makes me cry.
Spread the positivity around. And that's where the battle between light and dark comes in, because there's so many people that are just affected by that darkness, and they want to spread it, and they want to take everybody else down with them. And
misery loves company.
And it's awful because when they see somebody rising and uplifting others, it enrages them, and they want to bring that down, you know?
And that's what I can understand. That's another thing that drives me nuts is, like, how many people are, like, incapable of celebrating other people's wins. Where it's like, I'm so excited anytime someone I know gets a win. I feel like I win. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Oh my God,
I don't even know the person. I read about an underdog who makes it on top, and I'm fucking crying. Like, you fucking did it. I don't even know the dude. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I'm like, I just don't understand. Where is that love? Like, some people just
it's seeing somebody else thrive. It inspires you to want to do the same, you know? And it shouldn't want to make you try and belittle what they've accomplished. You know, I see in regards to Pokemon Go, I see so many people getting all these shundos and all these like amazing Pokemon, and you know, I don't have a single one of those, and I'm just like, yeah, good for you, like this is so cool,
right?
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, the principle, yes.
Yeah, someday
Sharing
it'll happen
the joy.
to you.
Share the joy,
you know?
not the misery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. It's just been. I was literally crying earlier today, to be completely honest with you, because I was just like reflecting on like how many times I'm like, I could name them off, like in the past year, several women, and it is primarily women in retrospect. But there are men as well that have also burned Zander, you know, that he's helped them, and they've turned around and completely shanked him in the back. You know, like, whether it's, there's been people that have taken our ideas, and we've literally shown them the ropes of, like, Twitch and OnlyFans and all kinds of shit. They not only don't use our referral code, they're not like, shout out to the band Famous for showing us how to live stream on Twitch, you know, pre-COVID or whatever, like, a lot of people went to Twitch. A lot of people went to Twitch that weren't on Twitch before they were in our venue, when we were showing people, when we had 3 DJs and multiple artists and musicians, and we were broadcasting everything on Twitch, and we literally introduced it. I mean, we introduced Twitch to Trainer Tips, to Mystic 7, to Pokemon Master Holly. Like, a lot of people, they weren't on Twitch before us. They only got on Twitch after our festival. And, you know, and actually Zander gave a piece of art to Holly, Pokemon Master Holly, the night she was at the festival, and I'm just going to say it because she said she was going to give him a shout-out. It was a fucking painting. It wasn't just like a picture. It was a painting, a canvas painting that Zander
He
painted,
painted
and he
it?
gifted it to her, and he gifted it to Holly. Do you think she ever gave a shout out for him?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, it broke his heart, and it broke my heart.
Oh my God.
And she spanked
See,
my
some
ass
people
at our
are just
festival
in there to
in January. I don't get it. Because literally she spanked I was twerking in body paint at our festival on the 18 plus night. We had an all ages night where, everybody was conservative, and appropriate.
Yeah.
But then we had the 18 plus night the next night, and that was with the stand up comedy and the body painting. And I mean, I was twerking. I had so many friends there, not a single one of them recorded my twerking performance, and I was so disappointed because I couldn't afford a videographer. I already flew in one of the musicians. I put another musician on the hotel.
You're hosting the entire event.
I'm putting money into the charity event, and then on top of that, there were people that were playing the Pokemon tournament that didn't even want to pay the cover to come in, and I'm like, okay, I guess we'll just pay for everything, and it's like we try to do what we can to help, and some people appreciate, but some people will only take. And it was just really heartbreaking because that night, we smoked so much weed together. We were having a good time. She spanked my ass in front of DJ Gabriel Diggs and, all these people. And she wrote in our book, and she's like, you guys changed my life. And, and she was like, I wish I was as confident as you. And, it was just really hurtful because, we showed her the ropes of, Twitch and OnlyFans. And it's after that festival, she basically ghosted us. I will go on the record and say that Zander offered her $250 to come over and do an edit on a Pokemon Go documentary that we've been working on, that we've been kind of overwhelmed with because we have so many projects we're trying to do. And she said she needed money. So he said, hey, I have a job for you. If you want to come over and take a look at this footage, help me edit it, maybe do a little voiceover. Oh, I can't, COVID. But yet she's out in Long Beach fucking going out with friends and going out to eat. And I'm like, you know what? Just be real. Just be like, I'm sorry, Zander. I just wanted to be cool with you that one night, and I got what I wanted from you, and now I'm good. Thanks for the painting. I'll never share it. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm kind of getting that off my chest because it's been bubbling for a while, and it's literally, you may or may not know, but she also went on OnlyFans. She didn't use my referral code, and she's like, I found my confidence, and it's not shout out to the band Famous. They're really inspiring. When she wrote that in our book, she told that to our face, she's like, I wish I had your confidence. You changed my life. But instead of being like, wow, this band changed my life, maybe they'll change your life. It's like, hey, it's all about me, and look what I did now, and it's and that's just an example. There's other musicians that have I got this great idea to live stream a show. You mean after you said hi to our audience and our app that we live streamed to? That kind of thing. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of sharking going on out there where it's people are so obsessed with the clout that they're like, I like that rug you're standing on. Let me just pull it out from under you. And that shit needs to stop.
Instead of trying to, lift each other up, oh no, I'm going to lift myself up and just fuck you. No.
Yeah.
Just me. And
that's evil.
It can't be like that. Yes, absolutely.
That is the battle of good and evil, and that falls under evil. I'm sorry, but if you're only caring about yourself, we are all in this together. You know what I mean? We're all in this together, and everybody around the world has dealt with some kind of hardship, and obviously some people have it worse than others. I know I, as a white person, have been judged as coming from privilege, which is the farthest thing from the truth. Both of my parents were heroin junkies. You know what I mean? Literally, my grandfather is one of the only reasons I think that I even turned out okay, because if I would have been so fucked if I didn't have my grandfather helping me and just being a fucking amazing role model in my life and encouraging me, because I got the opposite from some other family members, and it's so painful when people are so quick to judge a book by its cover, and I think that's so fitting with the whole LGBTQAI plus community, because so many people are like,
so much stigma. So much
you look like a boy, so you're a boy, and you must be straight. And it's like, wait a minute, who made the rules? Because it's a fucking spectrum, and like you said, we need to be authentically who we are, or we're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
And people would be so much happier if they could just support each other. But it's some people, it's they only celebrate when people are not winning, and it's when they're winning, like you said, when the moment they start winning, oh, they're so mad about it. They just want to tear it apart and bring it down. And it's let me destroy your sandcastle. You know, it's like someone builds this whole beautiful sandcastle and they go and they just fucking kick it. And they're like, fuck your sandcastle. You know, it's like,
I know,
what
right?
the fuck?
It's like, wait,
what is up with that?
It took some time.
I know.
Oh my God.
I'm like one of our good friends in our Hall of Fame, he was just, okay, Drix. He's amazing. He's also LGBT. He's in the community. He's amazing. He's wonderful vibes. And he's done many shows with us. And he was actually just very recently performing on Jimmy Kimmel Live with Kelly Rowland. And we were so fucking excited for him. And it's like, that is amazing.
That's incredible.
And it's like, why? Yeah, right. And it's like, and he's happy and we're happy and we're congratulating him. And he's like, thank you, like hearts, you know. And it's like this like love just continues to spread and like kind of almost like a cycle. Like you're just continuing to water the garden with love, you know.
And it's such a beautiful thing because once you start spreading that, it's more contagious than spreading hate, and it feels better.
With
it
love,
feels so much better. Oh my goodness, yes.
With love, we all win. We're all winners in love.
Absolutely.
100%. 100%. Wow. I freaking went way off the deep end and went into so many things. I don't even know if Xander's
I know, right?
You might want to edit that out. I don't know. We'll have to see. But we'll see what makes it in the actual interview. Maybe it'll all go out. We'll see. I did get a little,
I can't wait.
I did get a little
been so much
ferocious.
Fun.
It is
like
fun.
You have no idea how nervous I was, like, especially when I got off of work. Ever since I got off of work at 2:30, all the way to, like, you know, when you guys called, I was like, oh man. I hope I don't screw this up. And and the entire time I've just been like, I don't even know why you guys want to talk to me. I don't even know why you know, like I have no idea. And it's been such a privilege, such a pleasure, and this, I don't know, it's been so much fun just to share all these ideas and experiences, and hopefully people can learn and be more accepting of.
I hope so, and more open-minded
of others.
Too.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Because more so than ever, you need to find happiness. Because
oh my
it's
goodness,
so
and it
hard.
is a choice we have to make
harder.
every single day. Every single day.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to be happy forever and evermore. At the end, it's like, okay, but you have to consciously, mindfully make the choice to be happy every single day. You got to count your blessings because everybody gets hit with those demons of negativity, like you're not good enough and you need to be doing this or whatever. You know what I mean? Like everybody has those negative voices. And in honestly, in my honest
and not
opinion,
just voices,
those are motherfucking demons. Yeah. And you know what?
Your
those
own
are
family
demons. Anything that's trying to
even
put
have
you
your
down.
back.
Exactly. And sometimes they work through your family. I do believe that some people are possessed. I do believe that some people get possessed if they do not have strong enough spirit, if they do not protect themselves, if they do not guard themselves, especially if they are not even, like, aware. You know what I mean? Like, if they're like, I'm going to play with a Ouija board because I don't believe in ghosts. And it's like, well, good luck. You're haunted now. Get an exorcist. You know what I mean? Like, don't fuck with Ouija boards, FYI.
There's so much things that people are ignorant about and
so
they
much
just play around with.
It's not bliss.
They have no idea of what they're opening themselves up to. You know, you could be opening a portal to so much shit and not know how to even close it. Like, don't even try if you don't know what you're doing.
Yes. And even like you said, speaking of portals, like when you go some places and you feel the energy is different, like there's some times where it's like I'll be driving and it's like I'll get super tired out of nowhere and I'm like, I think there was an accident over here and I think some people died or something.
You know, there's
like a drain, you know?
Yes, there's a stretch of freeway that we go through and
oh my God,
and
really?
me and my wife, it's like this bend on the freeway, and you go through it, and we feel the energy just change. It's like a vortex there, and all of a sudden, once you enter it, you feel your cart jerk. It wants to get pulled either to the left or to the right, and you have to maintain control. You see around yourself right before you enter it, all these cars losing control just for a minute, for a second. They'll lose a little bit of control. They'll start swerving to one side or the other. It literally pulls you, and it's the weirdest feeling. But
that is tripping me out because I actually,
That's the kind of stuff people need to be aware of, you know, and
They do.
and know that you're not crazy. It's this planet. It's everything you're not being told that it's being revealed to you.
Yep. Yeah, they're not teaching us everything they could teach us about energy, because energy is everywhere.
Oh, no.
Energy is attached to objects. I know there's actually Native Americans we met near our ranch, and they've warned us. They're very sweet. They actually we're going to be going to one of their ceremonies soon. We're very blessed that they even invited us. It's such an honor.
Oh my gosh, what an honor!
A sweat lodge, the whole 9 yards. I know, we're so excited. And they were just so sweet, and they're Navajo, and his wife is a medium, and she was like seeing spirits the day that we met, and he told us, he was like, oh, if you got, because we told him about our land, because we own some acres in Arizona, and he said, oh, have you found any Native American pottery? And we said, yeah, we have actually. We found some. We found, petrified wood, pottery, all kinds of stuff. And he cautioned us. He said, don't bring the pottery home. Do not bring it inside your home, because you might have an unrestful spirit that is attached to that pottery that will bother you. And it's like, we already, we kind of knew that, but it was like affirmation, where it's like, yep, okay, yep. And any pottery we found, we've kept outside. We've never brought it inside because it's not, it's not meant to be. But actually, you reminded me when you were telling me about the highway that your wife and you drive on, and you said you can feel the car kind of jerk when you go through that energy change. I actually had a car once that was haunted, and I remember I had a friend with me driving, and I had it on cruise control, and I was rounding I think I was in the Twin Cities, like in Minnesota, and I was like on a really tight bend, and it started going so fucking fast when we were going around the corner that we both literally almost pissed our pants, and I was like, okay, I'm done with this car. And I found out that the person that owned the car before me had died. And I'm like, that motherfucker did not like me driving his car. I don't know, but I was driving his car.
There's so much energy around us. When I went to college for like massage therapy and stuff, and with the teacher that I had, I learned how to do energy massages. And I kid you not, when I met my wife at that school, and like we would be able to go through other classes and like, invite people to get massages, just whatever. So I was practicing on her, and now that we're together and everything, she tells me like I could feel this ball, like this crazy ball of like just warmth, like this weird energy. You weren't even touching me. I was not even touching her skin.
Oh,
and I could transfer this energy to like every part of you, and it was the most incredible thing to be able to learn that from my teacher, and I'm forever grateful to be able to tap into that power that you have within yourself. It's so cool.
Man.
Oh yes,
it is so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
It's just all these mysteries of what we're capable of, like I feel like there's so much that is being kept from us that could potentially help us improve in so many ways, that it is purposely being kept from us to keep us miserable.
I think they're manipulating the knowledge. I think they're manipulating the knowledge. I think some people have a lot more knowledge at their disposal, and they're using it to their beneficial gain. And they're keeping other people trapped in their little... actually, I want to bring this up because this fucking... it pissed me off the other day. Danny DeVito? He did a tweet on Twitter, right? And he was verified. He had the little blue check mark. He did a tweet about the Nabisco workers and that they deserved livable wages. And he's like, no fair wages, no snacks. The next fucking day, Twitter took away his blue verification mark. If that's not fucking censorship, if that's not fucking evil, if that doesn't show that they're manipulating the powers that they have, I don't, man.
That's
honestly,
100% what's happening.
It is.
And
like
it's a shame.
The power that we have within ourselves, that untapped potential, like you said when you were, before you even touched your wife, she felt the energy from your hands. I had a friend, actually a friend of Zander's. It's more Zander's friend, who was, I'm not going to go into too many specifics, but she was, we'll say she was coming under psychic attack, okay? And I felt it intuitively. I felt it intuitively, and it's like I visually saw like a black onion, like onions of, like you know how onions look when you peel away the layers? It looked like black onion skin around her heart. And I saw, like, visibly in my mind. It was so weird because I couldn't see it with my plain eyes, but, like, in my mind, I could see this, like, black layer around her heart, and I could see this, like, chain, this, like, black chain around her, like, her aura, like, her energy, you know? And I was like,
that stuff is so real.
I just went with it, and I was like, I feel this, so I just started, since I could see it, I was like, well, then I can get rid of it. So I started cutting away. Like, cutting away the fucking black shit around her heart, and I cut away the chain, and she started to come under attack more, and I remember, I don't even know what came over me, but I got so mad, and I was just like, I command you to leave, and I did it so fucking loud, and I put my hands out like I was pushing energy, you know, like I'm pushing a fucking door down or something with both of my hands, and I was like, to whatever negative energy was bothering her, like you did when you were a kid, and you said, you need to leave. I did that shit, and I was like, you need to leave. And I did it, and she was like, oh my God, it's gone. I kid you not, Carlo, I was shocked because after I looked at my hands, and I literally had a blood blister on my thumb from the energy that came out of my fingers. There was a blood blister that had appeared, and she was there, and Amanda was witness the whole thing, and I was like, I didn't even know that I was capable of that. And that's just like you said. What else don't we know? What are they keeping from us? What other knowledge could we be using to protect each other from dark forces out there? It's that battle of good versus evil, and it's like Supernatural. You know, they have the tools, the letters, whatever. Like, they have that information, so they're able to combat it. And it's like, imagine if other people were equipped or aware, even if they had the spiritual awareness. You know what I mean? Where it's like, how many people would be less likely to hang themselves? Less likely to stick a gun in their mouth and blow the trigger if they were just open-minded to the fact that, wow, I think I'm coming under attack right now. There's a demon that's trying to get me to take my life. Like, I will say, that happened to me in college, Carlo. Yeah, that happened to me in college. 2 different instances, I'll tell you. One time was with the haunted car, so maybe it had to do with the ghost that haunted my car, but I was driving my car, and randomly out of nowhere, I'm like, I think I was singing even possibly, because I was always singing. And I'm like, out of nowhere, it's like, I should drive off the cliff. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I'm like, why the fuck did I get that thought? I'm like, I don't want to drive off the cliff. And I was able to, I was strong enough. I was strong enough to be like, that is not my thought. That is not mine. And I rejected it. The other time that I remember, I was in the 3rd floor of my gym at the University of Minnesota. It was at the College of Liberal Arts. I'm on the 3rd floor, 3rd story, you know, and that's like the open stairs. So, like, if you're on the 3rd floor, you can look down and see all the way down. And I'm just like, just finished my workout, just had like a little snack, and I'm like, I should just throw myself off this 3rd floor. And I'm like, what the fuck? Where did that come from?
See,
and I'm like, I'm not,
that's the darkness.
So fucking weird.
That was whispering to you.
Yes.
It's always there. It's always there.
Enough, and luckily, I was strong enough to even know. And I had a friend in my past who I have since cut out, Carlo, and I'll tell you why. Because they were one of my witchier friends that I met. And, like, I don't judge when people say they're a witch, because some witches are good, you know, but just like some witches are bad, you know. It's like you can be good or you can be bad, you can be neutral, whatever. This one claims to be a gray witch, more neutral, right? Well, you know, a huge red flag was when I went to her house. Not only did she only do tarot readings under the influence of alcohol, which is a huge no-no. They call it spirits for a reason. No. They call it spirits for a reason. But this chick had the largest horror movie collection I had ever seen. And, I mean, there were horror movies I had never even heard of. And I had a phase in my youth where I loved horror movies. So I'm like, this chick's got issues. This chick's got issues. And I will tell you, I saw phantoms after meeting this person because they had attracted so much darkness. And I kid you not, I was in her apartment one day. Her bathroom sink would turn on by itself. Little fucking weird things would happen. And I'm like, well, you dumbass, stop fucking doing tarot cards on alcohol. You're inviting negative energy in. Fucking A.
I know.
If anybody's listening to this and they're trying to do tarot, do it when you're fucking sober. You want to smoke a little weed? That's great. You're connecting with plant consciousness, but stay away from alcohol. It is called spirits for a reason. Do not do spiritual shit with spirits.
Yeah,
you know?
no,
And I will say, you can have a drink, like a celebratory drink. You know, they say, oh, happy drunk, mean drunk. And I firmly believe it starts with intentions, because anybody that drinks, I've seen happy drunks that can also be mean. I'm just saying. And I think it has to do with the intention, like the mood when they started drinking. You know what I mean? Like, it's my birthday.
Absolutely.
I'm in such a good mood. I'm celebrating. Woo! It's like then you're going to be a happy drunk. You're going to be full of love. You're going to be boisterous. You're going to be flamboyant, dancing in the rain, you know, which I've totally done that, and it's so much fun. But, you know, but if you're like, God, fuck today, I fucking hate everyone, and you're drinking with that intention, ooh, bad news,
bad vibes.
man. You're on a path of destruction. Exactly. I did not expect to kidnap you for 2 hours of your time this evening.
Oh, no, not even.
It's been such a good conversation.
So fast.
It really has. I was like, holy shit, we've been talking for 2 hours? Wow.
Right?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. I think we have covered so many queer topics in this episode, like from paranormal to strange to queer to everything in between. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up this interview?
Oh man, I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to chat with you and be able to share these experiences and you know, be able to share it with the world. Basically, it's it's a little overwhelming, and it's a big honor, and I'm very thankful to be here with you guys.
We are so thankful to have you, Carlo. This has seriously been such an exciting interview. And I mean, when we first connected, it was like, okay, yeah, this guy's an artist, and it was like, okay, this guy's a woke artist. Okay, we should get him on Queer Talk. And it was just a matter of time. We just had to have you on. And we're just so grateful.
Thank you so much.
It just means a lot that you just to have you with us. This
is so much fun.
Oh, thank you so much, Carlo. I really hope that the experiences that you've shared and just, you know, your perspectives, I hope that it will open someone's mind out there that maybe was a little skeptical before, that maybe they will see things with fresh eyes this time. And I just really want to thank you so much for just being such a wonderful guest on Queer Talk.
And like hopefully it'll open up people to share their experiences, you know, with their friends and the rest of the world too. And we can all,
they're not alone.
You know, we can all get to understand each other better instead of just fighting and killing each other. It would be so awesome.
Understanding is so key. Understanding is so key. And we're just so happy to hear and share your experiences and stories, and to be able to share them on Queer Talk with the band Famous, so that other people can benefit from them as well. And thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Where can people where can people connect and stay updated with you and all of your happenings?
Basically on Twitter, just at CarloTheAce. That's basically where I post a lot of everything what's happening with me. Instagram too, at Carlo_the Ace photos. That I post everything that I do there, and that's basically it. I'm not on many platforms, honestly.
That's awesome, though. So I will definitely be putting the links in the description to this video. So everyone, be sure to go follow CarloTheAce on Twitter and on Instagram. Check out his amazing VR photos with Pokémon Go. They're seriously so artistic and just some of the most impressive AR photos that we've seen. And we've seen some cool photos, but I think, yours are definitely among our favorites. And we just had to have you on and just kind of pick your brain a little bit. And we're so grateful.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. We're going to stay in touch. We'll keep you updated on the Oasis as part of the festival and everything that's in progression as well right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Please do.
Sounds great. Keep up the great work, Carlo. The truth is out there, and I do believe that more people will wake up to that. I do believe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carlo. Take care.
Take care. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.